All right. What's up, everybody? Summer League has been generating a lot of hype. Yeah, it's been generating a ton of hype. So let's get right into it. A lot of young prospects playing very well in all three of the different leagues. Who do you guys think right now is looking the brightest?
As the brightest future? I would have to say Lonzo by default. 2 triple doubles. You can't talk bad about that. But I still like De'Aaron. Nobody else seems to agree with me.
I'm a big fan of De'Aaron myself. This is one of the few things we'll agree on. I like his potential. He's getting a lot of comparisons to John Wall. A lot of people, he's like a fast guy who needs to work on his jumper, but can also play defense and can distribute very well. So those two I like. Jason Tatum's playing very well. I don't know how he'll fit into that system eventually, but Jason Tatum's playing well right now.
In about 2 years, they're gonna run LeBron out of the East.
I think honestly, I think I could agree with that. If he's still there, that's another question we'll get into later.
Because they're gonna have the #1 pick next year.
Yeah, they'll probably have the ability to make a serious run in the next couple of years.
They'll make a 30 for 30 about how they do throw
But do you think that's enough to beat somebody over in the West?
Do I think that? No. I think if they wind up being the representative,
are we talking this year or
the Celtics?
Yeah, like if they manage to get out of the East this year.
If they get out the East,
it's
not enough.
No. I don't even know if they're beating the Rockets team, to be honest.
That's pretty sad.
I'm interested. We'll talk about that later too. But that Rockets team might be an interesting look this year.
Staying on Summer League though, Dennis Smith Jr.
Dennis Smith Jr. has been very
impressive.
I'm a fan.
They haven't been in the season though. Like
let's not bring him up.
If we're really going to talk about Dennis Smith,
he's in a good system together.
No. But listen, when you actually get in the season, like he's gonna have enough like staying and position on that team to really learn some shit early, but he's still gonna have Dirk and a good ass coach.
But that's the thing. When you talk about Dennis Smith Jr., you have to talk about the Knicks. You have to.
The fact that the Knicks don't have him. Or Malik Monk. I thought those were two guys I thought the Knicks should have taken. But
you have to.
They have neither one of them
now. You're going to have to take this punch in the face.
People always say about international players because it's like it's an unknown commodity. Like obviously you know that.
Well, I'll give the Knicks this. Nikolinka had a good amount of potential, and we haven't seen him play, so we don't know whether or not he's going to pan out.
He averaged 5.6 points per game last season.
I don't want people to do bad, but I hope he does bad. Like the Knicks are disgusting.
I don't want to see Frank do badly, but in terms of like, should they have taken almost 6 other players? Yes, probably. I don't know about you, Jordan, as a Knicks fan. There was a handful of guys I would have taken before.
I respect Phil Jackson knew he was going out. He went out with a bang. I respect
that is probably true. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He said, "Oh, y'all want to go younger? Okay. We'll get you an 18-year-old."
Him and Chris Christie went out of their respective terms in the day. So those two guys they're on the same plane in terms of the way that they went out. But I still think that there's a lot of good This is one of the better draft classes, in at least right now. Josh Jackson is also looking very good for the Suns.
This is what people don't understand.
That's going to be a good fit.
This draft might be better than an OT draft.
Stop it.
Redraft?
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes. If you look at the potential in this draft compared to the...
I'll say this because that's a very top-heavy draft. The three guys in that draft who are good are really good. But after that, there was a slight drop-off. No,
the top 5 they're all top 5 in their position.
Undrafted in this draft are decent.
I mean, like Frank Mason.
Briscoe?
He's from New Jersey, but don't get me wrong. He can't.
Frank Mason, the College Player of the Year, went like in the third, like the end of the second round.
Yeah, you got Dwayne Bacon,
and he's looking good. Like he's playing well.
Dwayne Bacon.
Dwayne Bacon is nasty.
LeBron James. Okay.
Bam Adebayo.
Watch your mouth.
Bam Adebayo is very interesting.
Yeah.
People are not talking enough about Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Bam Adebayo.
Kentucky, he produces a lot of good stuff.
Bam Adebayo is averaging very good numbers right now. He's playing extremely well.
LeBron
He's got 17.5 points a game, 8.3 rebounds a game. That's top 5 in the Orlando League right now.
Yeah, but when you compare the 2 drafts, the first thing people say LeBron, Melo, D Wade. All right, you go
Chris Bosh.
I like Chris Bosh. Let's say Chris Bosh. But that's 4. That's 4. Okay. Can we name like some notable picks that were in like the middle of the first round? Like
Collison.
Who?
Collison.
Who?
Collison.
Who?
He's decent.
Nick Collison?
Are we talking about Darren?
He went Nick.
Nick Collison?
We're talking about Nick Collison.
He went to the Supersonics. He went to when he was about to switch teams.
Okay, but
I'll say this.
That's the best trade about him. I'll say this right now though. most of these players, sure, they might not wind up to pan out to be better than the 3 guys at the top, but there's so much depth in this draft. The guys that were getting taken at the end of the first round are all quality starters. There's guys. Frank Mason's a quality starter. Yeah. He could be a good player, but he's out here getting taken by the Kings. The Kings took 3 quality prospects.
Is it possible that you can pull up the 03 draft, the whole 03 draft?
The entire 03 draft.
You don't need to because of the top 5.
No,
the top 5
I'm just showing you like the depth in the draft.
I'm showing you how great the top 5 is.
The top 5.
And wait till my guy goes over to Houston.
Markel can be the best scorer. No, he can't be the best scorer in the league
because
of Kevin Durant.
Josh Hart at 30, Justin Jackson at 15.
Josh Hart's a good player.
Justin Jackson should have stayed.
Justin Jackson's good too. Okay. Luke Ridnour.
Okay.
Rough. They are rough.
Chris Kaman. Bonner. Red Lightning won a dunk contest in high school. Matt Bonner.
That's the Red Mamba.
Matt Bonner.
That's the Red Mamba.
Kyle Korver.
Yeah, there's no way.
Wait, I got a name that might bring it down a little bit though. I don't know if there's any relation. Zaur Pachulia.
No.
Zaur.
Who?
Z-A-U-R. I don't even know how you pronounce that. Zaur.
Ain't that Zaza?
Is that him? I don't even know. Is that the same? That might be him.
This has the most rings of all.
According to Stephen
that might be him. I don't even know his real name. I thought Zaza was
according to Stephen A. Smith.
I feel dumb. Jaja Pachulia.
According to Stephen.
Dante Jones and Boris Diaw were both in this. Travis Outlaw.
Boris Diaw was low.
LeBron paid.
Mo Williams. Mo Williams is in this.
How many 50 points? How many 50
My top was like Boris Diaw was the only one that would come over and drink wine.
He drank wine with him. Boris Diaw scared me. Boris Diaw crying wine drinking.
Low-key won in the finals in like 2014.
Wait.
He did, low-key.
He's my
finals MVP.
As if Darko Milicic wasn't a stain on this draft, we also have Luke Walton. So I don't know how we feel about that.
Luke Walton's a great coach.
If they had a coach draft, he'd be up there. But I mean,
they contributed different ways.
We're talking about great NBA talent.
There's good NBA talent.
I mean, if you're in the NBA, you had to be good at some point. But
no, he's great.
This draft.
Are you gonna say that about like Kwame Brown? You can never get in the NBA.
Don't say
Kwame Brown.
If anything, that helps Kobe.
If we're talking about Stephen A. Smith, Kwame. Ultimately, I still think the depth of this draft class could prove to be one of the better drafts of all time. Because there's guys all the way at the bottom of this draft who I think could contribute significantly to the teams that they're on. I mean, like Marcus Page on the T-Wolves, I don't even know if he got drafted. And he's like top 5 in assists in that.
I like the T-Wolves.
The T-Wolves, that's my unofficial team. I've never rooted for that. I've never had an official team. But I'm slowly starting to root for them. I like A. Wiggins when he came out.
It's a dark horse, but it's more like they're just replacing the Jazz as a playoff.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because now that Gordon Hayward left, it's going to be harder for Rudy Gobert to he's not going to have that many scorers now. Gordon Hayward averaged 21 this year. So, do the Jazz have another guy who can step up like that? Jimmy Butler averaged, I think,
probably like
20 something as well, but I'm not
sure. He's a good defender, but he's not stopping Kevin Durant. That's
alright. Well, this actually segues us right into the next topic, which is NBA offseason and free agency moves, such as the Gordon Hayward move, the Jimmy Butler move, and trades that have happened throughout the league, like Paul George. So, do we think the landscape of the NBA has changed significantly, or do we think we're headed for Cavs Warriors Part 4?
Wild West.
It's not going to be Part 4 because it's not guaranteed LeBron's doing that.
It's not going to be Part 4 because after this trade, we're not sure if the Warriors are going back.
Are you serious?
I'll tell you straight like that.
So, you're telling me,
okay,
that would be crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hold on. Can I say something about that?
The last time Melo played happy,
when you played for
Jordan, can I ask you something though? Because you mentioned Melo playing happy.
Players and guards who are looking to pass.
Okay, but those are 2 guards that are both ball dominant. So you have to think. He was like top 2 in the league in terms of possession. Like he dribbled the ball. So then, I know, but I'm saying so. Melo's the third option.
Want to be the first.
But do you realize?
Melo's never knocked out.
If he's in Houston, he will eat.
But I don't know what the chemistry.
He's on a winning team.
You think
Melo has.
I'm gonna ask you this.
J.R. Smith with the gray 11s banging out and everything. I don't think he wanted
He was ready to win.
No, I think that's just the media. The media hyping that up. I don't think he really wanted
He's ready for that banana boat. He's ready for the banana boat team, and this is about to start.
Jordan, if they don't buy him out, you realize they're giving up Eric Gordon to get Melo. Do you really?
No, they're not. They're giving up Ryan
Eric
Anderson.
Gordon.
To
me, Eric Gordon adds in terms of depth more than Melo because Melo's going to be starting.
I would keep
Eric Gordon.
I would rather have Eric Gordon than Melo.
They're getting both.
Either way, if we're being real, I don't think that you could keep both. You could have Eric Gordon. You could have Carmelo Anthony. Neither of those guys are getting you over the hump of Golden State.
Yes,
Golden State is still beating everyone.
So what? Tell me what's getting them over. Like what's going to be the deciding factor?
What's the deciding factor?
Yes.
What's going to be the deciding factor if Kawhi ain't go down?
We will never know.
No, answer the question.
Never know.
Answer the question. No,
that has nothing to do with the Rockets, though.
Yeah,
yes,
nothing
it does.
has
Yes,
nothing
it
to do with
does.
the Rockets.
The Rockets lost to the Spurs.
Brothers can ball, okay? They can ball, and they're not afraid. They're not afraid of the Warriors. They will not be afraid of the Warriors. First
You're
of all,
not be afraid.
you
You're not.
You don't have to be afraid. You're still not gonna beat them.
You don't have to be afraid to get whooped.
The Warriors.
Like, come on
The
now.
Warriors also just got way better. Hold on, we're not gonna forget about the fact that they just added Jordan Bell, who's a high.
That has nothing to do with
Okay,
the
you want to
basketball
talk
aspect.
You want to talk about rated dirty players? How about Draymond Green?
If you're gonna bring that up, that's the only reason Melo going to the Hall of Fame because he's the last person to land a punch in the NBA.
Straight in the neck.
When Melo hit, was that Jared Jeffries? I think it was Jared Jeffries. When you love Melo, I understand that.
Believe it when you see it.
Do they have enough to take him to 7? That's a whole other.
The Warriors gonna need 7 against this Rockets.
Realistically, though, we're talking about your because I know your main thing here is can they keep up with the scoring? Yes, they probably can. However, the Warriors also play very quality defense, and that's something that this Rockets team I don't think will have.
If you say they have enough to take them to 7, like if
I don't think this Rockets,
anything can happen.
but I'm saying I don't think this Rockets team really has the defense for that.
You know they have a
The
new
guys
depth squad
like
now, right?
have the defense, but they still managed to pull off last year.
Jordan. It's a new depth squad now.
That's what I'm saying.
It happens.
Remember the low 5 that they had when they put in Iguodala, Draymond at center?
Yep.
That 5? Now it's going to take
And the
Iguodala out and put
Warriors-
in Nick Young as a shooter.
The Warriors
Don't choke on purpose.
Okay.
LeBron's gonna pay Nick Young to be a Russian spy. Okay.
Something's wrong with
He
you.
Thunder fan sitting
No,
at this
don't
side.
claim I am a Thunder
He
fan.
claims to be a Thunder fan.
What will it take for him to stay? What will it take
Paul
for him
George?
to not be out?
I think what it takes for him to stay,
Unless they win the whole thing, he's out.
realistically,
Because
yes,
there's gonna be
that's
too
fine.
much hype around LA for 2018 for
He
him
doesn't
not
like
to
that. He doesn't like the hype that LA is getting right now.
He actually was on record. He said that the
He said
media
it was-
overplayed his interest in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that's interesting about that point though is I think by the time the season is over and we see how well Lonzo plays, if Lonzo plays well, what's to say Paul George doesn't think to himself, wow, I would probably rather play with a young Lonzo right now who's distributing.
I
the
would
level."
probably rather play with LeBron in LA.
If LeBron goes to LA and Lonzo's
You
there,
really think the NBA going to allow that?
LeBron's not going.
I mean at this point, they're allowing a lot of like
The
they
one
allow the
thing,
Warriors to
one
get
thing
together.
to be said on the
So
subject is that LeBron is trying to be a billionaire. He's trying to get his media shit going. He has a house in LA. That's where the money is.
And look, CP3's aren't gonna be there. And D Wade's a free agent after next year too. D Wade, this over. Say over.
That's too much.
It's not too much. That's what they did when they what's his name? Didn't
Wait,
they
wait,
put Clyde Drexler?
at this point, wait, I actually forgot the year.
Actually,
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So run through the lineup one more time for me.
Rest it sound.
Anderson, but we gonna need to clear off the whole cap space. Capella's staying, Nene staying.
Okay, all that.
How could you have CP3 at 2? That doesn't even make sense. That goes
You
against.
get the point.
For being real.
No, you can't. CP3 for a long time was averaging.
When CP3 gets put on skates by
bench, doing what he has to do.
Alright, so at this point,
You
this
think
lineup
there's
would be
19?
better. This lineup would be better, and
The
by that
number
time, the Celtics though, the Celtics are by that point will be both the best player, might be the best two-way player in the league.
But like,
So
I don't know. LaMarcus is
Jonathan Simmons is
they're
a
trying
free
to dump him like fucking.
Jonathan Simmons is a free agent. So
Down from here.
so the West Coast we've decided is decidedly cramped.
It's the one.
Now we have the East. Spots are opening up. There are a couple sleeper teams. That is a high.
So you're saying the Milwaukee
That is
Bucks
a
are
high
high
quality. That is a high.
D Rose can't even stay healthy with y'all.
Yes, he couldn't stay at every game.
John with a jump shot honestly could be the GOAT.
Chris Middleton, one of the better shooters in the NBA.
No, that's-
D Rose,
Vardy doesn't stay.
The X Factor Thon Maker. If he starts to play well, that's what.
Come
That's
on.
what. Go ahead. Go ahead.
How is that another
Slander
two
him.
seed, Jordan? Another. They don't have
Minimum.
nothing.
Okay,
All right,
so
all right, you just named the potential lineup. A potential
they signed.
Stop.
Did I say that before anything?
He just said.
All
All right,
right,
but
so-
your
so
name
we actually
is how many games do they have under their belt?
That's
How
right.
many games
That's
does
right.
Derrick Rose have under his belt with a top? Everything you're
That's
saying,
right. How many games did Kevin Durant have for Steph Curry?
Say what you're supposed to say.
Slow. Done.
Say what you're
Next.
supposed to say. No,
But I've talked my fair amount about Ben Simmons talking, even though he has very little energy. They're young. They can establish themselves
And
for
they
like,
got chemistry.
they can establish themselves for a while.
No, like they got energy there.
You act like
I'll
the
give three.
Raptors.
The Feds. This is the only time you'll hear me support the Feds because
You don't respect DeMar DeRozan.
You lost
disrespectful.
credibility. You lost credibility.
I like DeMar DeRozan. Can I ask you guys another question? I'm curious about this because I've had debates with this about people off the show. In terms of carrying somebody to a championship, because we were talking about the Celtics, some other supplementary talents in the rest of the team. I don't think Isaiah Thomas carries the squad.
This
He's a different when he plays well in the fourth quarter, but does he bring you all the way to a championship? That's my
talk
question. What
about
do you
young
think?
guys who have the potential to.
Point guard
2 years from now,
who has a-
Not a point guard.
He's a
Yes,
point
he
guard.
is.
Him is 8-8. Like
That's crazy.
Say something. Say something.
That's crazy.
Giannis is pretty much full package. Giannis is the full
The
package.
complete package.
All he needs to do is get himself a jump. Giannis was already playing well, but they moved him to point guard and they made him the primary.
He's a highlight reel.
They made him hold on with a young team. With a young team.
Jared not gonna start watching until they on. You
don't
don't
have
have
to. Alright, we're talking about the Bucks. I'm talking about the
2 years ago. You know I did too. I called it that.
the Jazz without Gordon Hayward are just about nothing.
And why?
Beat up like
They got banged.
they got beat up, and Gordon Hayward's a good Gordon Hayward's.
We think it'll go
But-
7 this year? Cavs, Celtics?
Yeah, I think because
I think they're. He said the Eastern Conference Finals might not even be Celtics Cavs.
Might not be.
Who else we got in there?
Celtics might choke. That's all I'm saying.
but now Gordon Hayward played well. He just had no Gobert, so it was, and he was against the
He
Warriors.
played well.
I thought he played pretty well. Didn't he put up like 38 one game?
Dion hit a game winner against the team that you're talking about.
You talking about regular season Deion Waiters?
I have not slept on Deion Waiters since the playoffs should be on.
No, Pat Riley deserves the article. He didn't even make it all about him. He was like Pat Riley's the Godfather. So
he consumed more years.
that team went through well. Hassan Whiteside is a very, very good player.
I like
Hassan Whiteside is a very, very good player.
this side.
I mean, Dwight Howard also got baptized multiple times.
He's also a goofy.
And he
gets the job done.
In order to be a center and stay in the league, they gotta have somebody they're gonna be able to stay in the league.
The Heat
they had both
the Heat won 28 out of 31 games.
I agree with that because that's my thing with Giannis. Because I love Giannis' natural talent.
The other team's gonna be run back at the 3-point line.
He's a center.
I completely agree that a jumper is what you need in today's league to make you relevant because, let's face it, the Warriors.
Steph Curry,
if you don't have a bro,
he changed
look at the guys who are getting money.
4-point plays and more than 3-point plays.
How many 4-point plays you see in the finals?
J.R. Smith, correct me if I'm wrong, the Henny God. And big men are becoming slowly irrelevant unless you really, like Whiteside, can play quality defense. I mean, like Andre Drummond is irrelevant.
Can we get his free throw percentage up here?
Hassan Whiteside?
Yes.
Alright, but percentage.
I know, but
to qualify him as a good
those
player.
are points like that are off the board.
Of course. But I still don't qualify like. Let's see. I don't know. DeAndre Jordan to have a good free throw percentage because like Shaq was the most dominant player in the NBA arguably and had a garbage free throw percentage. So the guy brought everything to the table you could have asked for. And when he was young, he ran the court. He ran the floor like.
Really?
Draymond wasn't shooting that well.
Yeah, Andre Iguodala's free throw percentage is not great, but the guy plays quality defense. It's like an elite tier because most of these guys, most of the guys up in the top, you look at them and they can all do it.
Twist it up.
Kevin Love was a big fish in a small pond on that team. Kevin Love was a high quality player on a team that was filled with low quality players. I had issues because I like Kevin Love, he's a good player, but he's another one of those guys who I'm saying not running you to a championship. I'm not concerned about him.
Melo.
Nobody cares about Melo.
Speaking of Melo and teams who seem to have permanent kryptonite on them, the Knicks. The Knicks have been historically awful for New York standards. For New York standards, they've been so bad. So,
Worst team in New York.
I want a Knicks fan. I want a your
Worst
stance.
team in New York.
I want a stance.
Are you?
Worst
I want
team
a stance
in New York.
Who are the New York Jets? Both Jets
the
fans.
Meadowlands.
I love my team. I'll ride for the Jets until I.
Secaucus.
What are their names?
Secaucus, New Jersey.
I'll ride for the Jets until I die, but because of the Jets, the time that I die might be very soon. So I don't know how much longer I can ride with them. You know, it might be Texans game a couple years down the line. I like Deshaun Watson and I like DeAndre Hopkins. Realistically, I'll never switch up. For those of you who know me, that's not true. But you know, I don't know how much longer I can ride with the Jets. They're real bad.
It's alright to sign from where you're
Either way, Jordan. What do you think is the cause of the root cause of the Knicks' trashness? Is it James Dolan? Is it Phil Jackson? Is it just the players in the team? What is the root cause of why the Knicks are not playing well?
James Dolan is an idiot.
James Dolan is an idiot. Is James Dolan your poison? James Dolan is the poison that you're picking here. Out of all the poison in New York, James Dolan is your poison. Didn't he skip the draft to play a gig with his band? I feel like I saw that.
I didn't hear about that, but
he skipped the draft. He skipped the draft.
I'm pretty sure the first year he came here, it was when I think it was like Pat's second to last year, made to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
One playoff game.
I believe so.
Like one playoff game.
Also, if you kick Charles Oakley out of any arena, I can't side with you in any argument.
Like, right?
Like Charles Oakley is a guy that I'll support. I didn't even watch the guy play. I wasn't old enough, but from the highlights of him, I mean, how could you not like the guy? Like, he's just a savage on the court. So if you kick Charles Oakley out, I'm not gonna. I have beef with you. I have beef with you. Yeah, that's not. I mean, what do you think about the future, though? Do you think Kristaps gets shopped? Do you think he's out?
No.
He had trying to build around.
If Phil was still there, he would have been going.
Well, do you also think then that the combination of Frank and Kristaps might go well? Two foreign guys playing, two young foreign players?
Well, they only got Frank, so he could be in the triangle. And we don't got the motherfucking triangle anymore.
Yeah, they don't have to run the triangle now that Phil's out.
So they don't really need him. Like,
who's the coach? Hornacek's the coach?
Yeah.
How much blame do you place on him?
He's put into a bad situation. I'm not gonna put that.
That's actually fair.
You blame everybody. No, you have to blame everybody.
No. I'll blame.
If you're
I'll blame Phil Jackson.
You have to.
And I'll blame James Dolan. I don't even know what Steve Mills does.
He has a very minimal role there, it seems, in terms of what they actually. At the end of the
final say on all basketball operations.
No,
but at the end of the day, where's that gotten them though? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not saying that he's good. I'm saying that he has power. Like, he does have power.
He has a title.
He's so groovy. He has power.
They said they only brought in Scott Perry because he'll just be some name. Like, he's never been the guy. Like,
he was the GM.
Like, they're just trying to bring in a. Like,
that's true. They did. I remember seeing that too on ESPN, I think. But ultimately, do we think the Knicks have any sort of future?
Well, everybody has a future.
The future was taken.
I mean, immediate future, like.
Future was taken.
I mean, a future like that we'll see before, like we're like grown people in the world. Like a decade.
There is no future.
Like a decade.
There is no future.
In 2030, we're projected to have self-driving cars everywhere, and that's the year the Knicks will have a championship.
Self-driving cars in the city of New York.
That's when we'll have a championship. That's when we'll have a championship.
The Knicks need a self-driving car for the franchise as a whole.
There will be a basketball league on Mars before the Knicks.
They should send the Knicks up there.
We need what's that bot? That smart bot?
From the IBM commercial,
yeah. Watson needs to be our GM.
Watson could be your GM.
Play some money ball.
Watson could be your GM, I think. You might have to do some cross branding. You might have to go get Billy Bean and from baseball. Like need to bring him back, play that money ball for the Knicks.
Knicks need to be in that.
Because I don't know what you guys need, but that's not James Dolan. It's not James Dolan by any stretch of the imagination.
3-on-3 league. That's how bad it is. Terrible.
Have any of you guys watched that 3-on-3 league?
I watched one game. It was trash.
I think that seems like it's turning into a flop. They have the TV delay, so like you're not even seeing it live. You're seeing it the day after
Friday.
Yeah. So it's like and it's awkward timing.
It was like that when WWE tried to make football. I watched.
Yeah, the XFL. That was a great documentary. A great 30 for 30. Who knows? Maybe we'll be watching 30 for 30 about the Knicks a couple years down the line now.
Yeah. Well, once we win the championship,
I don't know how much
30 for 30 just be depressing.
It would be a sad 30 for 30.
It'll be depressing the first hour and a half. The last 30 will win the championship.
It would be a very sad 30 for 30.
I hope. All
right.
It's gonna happen.
We haven't talked about baseball yet on this show. I know we have a Yankees man in the building.
Please and thank you.
You can see that. I'm a Mets fan. It's also sad for me, just generally in terms of sports. Every team I root for sucks. It's life. The Yankees, as much as it pains me to admit, look like they could be a World Series contender as soon as this year. They have a lot of good young players. I hate it a lot. I hate it passionately. I never wish injuries upon people aside from Tom Brady, but who knows? A couple years down the line, I might be hoping that somebody cleats Aaron Judge. The guy's a stud. Watched the home run derby and it was painful. Jordan, what do you think is the immediate result for the Yankees? Do you think they win the World Series this year? Do you think they win it next year? What's your projection?
Well, let's start with this year.
The phones are blowing up about the Yankees.
If we don't make a couple trades, then we won't win it this year.
I think you guys.
If we do make, if we get some
what
pitchers,
do you need? Where are you?
I think you need pitching. I think you need pitching. And your bullpen's playing historically bad right now.
Well, everybody has their hump, but the pitching has been bad.
The pitching has been not good.
So once we get the pitching there, bullpen will get their confidence back.
I don't know if you guys have enough to beat the Astros though.
I think we
I'll
do.
say that.
I think we do. Cause
the Astros might be the best team in baseball.
They might be.
I think the Astros might be the best team in baseball.
But
They've got everything going.
They got some bad boys.
Their pitchers are going right now, and
They got some bad boys.
they have arguably the best player in the league with Jose Altuve.
You said what?
What?
You said what?
Jose Altuve might be the best player in the league.
That's what I thought you said. Say it again.
Jose Altuve might be the best player in the league.
No, and that's what.
Slander this man.
Aaron Judge might be. He should be the first undisputed MVP.
Yeah.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
He should be the first.
If they had, I don't think that'll ever happen as long as Tim Kurkjian's in the voting for the MLB.
He should be the first.
I think Mike Trout should be the first unanimous MVP before Aaron Judge. If we're being real.
If we're being real, he's not helping.
Now he's just hating on Jordan.
No. I love Mike. I love me some Mike Trout. I think he should get the hell out of Los Angeles because he's stuck in the worst market in the MLB. Because not only does that team suck, but they're not even the main team in California. So to be a backup team in California and not be even good, that's a big fat L for Mike Trout. And I hope, I don't want him to go to the Yankees, but Jesus, put him in a market where people will see the guy play. Like, put him somewhere where he'll get attention.
Hey, we have room for him and Mike Trout. Him and Bryce Harper. With all these rookie
Bryce Harper.
We have room for him.
Mike Trout, the Yankees will be.
I'm not allowed to curse on this podcast, but Bryce Harper is a lot of words that I can't say out here, and I don't like him at all. I used to be a big fan of him, but now he's just turned into something that I can't really get behind. He's a good player. I can't deny his talent. But, oh my goodness, do I not like him anymore. Like, I stopped liking him. It was quick, too. It was quick. Like,
he's the reason I watched the baseball game.
He's an exciting player, and I'll give him his talent. But I just...
Not the talent when he started fighting.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Hunter Strickland slapped him, so... Hunter Strickland slapped him, but I'll give Bryce Harper, he landed a punch. Ultimately, do we think baseball... I think baseball is on the rise. I think there's a lot of young players right now who are bringing attention back to baseball. And the commissioner seems to be about that action in terms of making changes to the game that could bring in fans and make it more exciting. Manfred seems like he's very committed to keeping the league up at the time.
He's definitely trying.
Because the NBA and the NFL are running stuff nowadays, so it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. But he has said shit about like the speed of the game.
He has, and he seems to be committed to making. The Cubs did help. Although I saw an interesting piece, Colin Cowherd talked about would it have been better for the Cubs to lose the World Series for baseball because the curse would have kept going. That to me is a hot topic. At first, I was very against it.
You get into despair territory where people like.
Hold on. At first, I was very against it, but now that I'm really reading into it, think about this. Think about the storyline. They lost to the Indians, who had the second longest drought. So could you imagine the heartbreak of the storyline? Like, wow, 108 years, we haven't won. Now the team with like a 68-year gap, we come back from 3-1 and they beat us in extra innings. Like, could you imagine how many people would probably tune in the next season?
Yeah, but that assumes that the Cubs then come back and get their.
But I'm saying they probably would though at this point. Who in the NL
probably would.
But I don't think anyone in the NL is beating them. The Nationals wilt every year. The Nationals fall apart every year in the playoffs. The Dodgers do too. So I mean,
for baseball to get that good of a story, I feel like that's hard to turn away from.
Well, if they won it this year after they lost,
that was their most watched World Series game in I don't even know how long.
Yeah,
and it would have done the same thing this year.
And that's what I'm saying.
I can't sit here and say that for them to lose would be better for baseball.
I believe me, I was in that same boat at first, but I'm slowly starting to embrace the side that he was talking about because it's like.
Why? Under the assumption that they would come back and win it at some point in the near future?
Yeah, because then you have...
That's such a hard assumption to make.
Well, it is, but also it's not. Because if you look into... I'm telling you, if you look into the NL, the Cubs are a young team who've made their run, and the other teams in the league just haven't been able to duplicate that kind of... The Dodgers are there. The Dodgers are there every year.
You take the assumption that they have to win it.
The Dodgers have been there every.
It's cool to have it.
The Dodgers have been there every year and have never done anything about it. Clayton Kershaw has played bad in the playoffs, and he might be the best pitcher in all of baseball. He might be one of the GOATs generally. Yeah, and he has an above 4 ERA in the playoffs. So the Dodgers aren't doing anything.
But let me ask you this. So, if the Cubs lose this game in Game 7 after coming back from 3-1 and shit, and then they win 5 years from now in a sweep, like a terrible.
5 years from now, a sweep is nothing.
Because the Yankees are gonna take about.
But I'm saying, all right, take 5.
I'm saying if they come back next year,
if they win at any point in the future, but not in as good of a series.
I'm saying if they come back next year.
I'm saying the reason it was so good for baseball was because they did it in the fashion.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's not good for baseball. I'm just saying it could have been. The argument was made that it could have been better.
Well, what I'm trying to say is I get the fact that it would be very storybook for them to get that close and then have to come back and do it again, and then it would be cool for them to win at that time. But like, I get that they have a foundation, but like having that much talent and being in the conversation year after year doesn't guarantee that it'll be as good of a series as it was.
That's true.
Like, it doesn't guarantee that it'll be extra.
And
Game
for
7,
exactly,
which was great for baseball.
And for as adamant as I am that the Cubs can make another run, ultimately you never know because they're not even playing well right now.
Yeah.
So they're very iffy with the 500 mark, and their good players are playing well, but not the same level they were before. So I do see both sides of the argument. Ultimately, I think baseball needed a jolt. Still does need a jolt. So hopefully they can make a couple. I'm not gonna lie, he could be the spark that they need.
Come on.
So,
because as I said, 2019 Yankees, it's gonna like the 90s. It's gonna like the 90s.
I should hope not because the Astros are also young, and I'm gonna root for them very hard if that situation pans out.
This their little run right here. They better enjoy their little prime. Once 29,
the Astros have just hit. They're not even in their prime.
Once
they haven't been good till the last 2 years.
Once 2019 hits, you talking about Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge, either Mike Trout or Bryce Harper or both.
Nah.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Mike Trout and Bryce Harper.
Here's something I want to propose.
We have money. We have money.
Hold on.
These are all rookie contracts.
Can I pose something to you guys? Because I want to switch leagues for a second. So we're talking about futures. I want to talk about the NFL, which is in their training camp's going to start soon. Couple interesting moves made this offseason in terms of signings. But what do we think right now is the landscape for the NFL? Do we think the Patriots just run through the league again and there's no competition?
You heard
shit about Tom Brady's concussions?
You say that like the Eagles are in the league. Like, come on now, don't say that.
Okay, well, let's see. The Eagles signed Alshon Jeffrey and LeGarrette Blount, who could both potentially wind up missing a combined total of 16 games due to weed suspension and injuries. So, realistically, that's really much of anything.
Do you think it's wrong for the Patriots to let Tom Brady keep playing if they know that he could be all types of fucked up right now?
I read a very interesting article about that, the quarterback situation there, that I was going to ask you guys about. Do you let Tom Brady play his career out, or do you give him maybe a year or two more, and if he doesn't do anything, just immediately supplant him with Jimmy G?
I feel like the Patriots have gotten away with letting Tom Brady play because like his like very public nutritional health and his like very meticulous approach to like how he prepares the season overshadows the fact that like it's football and he's probably so fucked up. Like,
all right, well, hold on. Let's be real. Tom Brady cowers at the sight of people about to hit him, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's never.
I don't think he's ever been hit that hard.
Not terrible.
But he doesn't have to be getting cracked
to slant the
He doesn't have to be getting
Tom Brady would probably duck down if I was about to sack him. So.
Because he probably has so many concussions that he's scared to get more. Like, you can't. You can't be in the league for as long as Tom Brady.
Peyton was eating hits up and played for a while.
You can't be in the league for as long as Tom Brady has been and not be banged.
My concern with him is not even the health, because there's always health questions to everyone in the NFL, it seems like, whether they are publicized or not, like Tom Brady. But my question with him is, because the common theme amongst quarterbacks seems to be, even the great ones, after their prime, fall off hard and fast. They fall off quickly, like very like Peyton Manning. I mean, after he left. What? Okay, but look at his Super Bowl performance. That defense won him the Super Bowl. He was completing under 50% in that Super Bowl.
You're gonna tell me he's falling off by winning a ring?
Did he really win that ring? He missed a fair amount of that season.
Yes, he won that ring.
He wasn't even the MVP of the Super Bowl. I'm a big Peyton supporter, but he wasn't even the MVP of that Super Bowl, dude. Like, all right, fine. How about Joe Montana? He left, and then what? He took the Chiefs to the playoffs, and that was nice and sweet, and then you never heard from him again. A lot of quarterbacks, Jim Kelly took the Bills to 4 Super Bowls. Trash.
Speaking of quarterbacks,
Jim Kelly never won because he lost
speaking of
10
quarterbacks, I have an opinion that nobody likes. Top 10 quarterback all time, Eli Manning. And I have evidence to support it.
You're an Eagles fan.
I'm an Eagles
and you're gonna
fan.
sit here at this table and seriously tell me that Eli Manning is the top 10.
in the NFL.
You're gonna tell me that you're slandering the NFL by saying that Eli's the top 10.
Wait, you said top 10 quarterbacks or top 10 players? Also?
Top 10 quarterbacks.
Okay, I mean,
It's still no.
that's still kind of.
Still not happening.
Not a no.
Still not
Do you
happening.
realize?
Do you have a top 10 to back
How many
it up?
rings does Tom Brady have right now?
5.
5. He's supposed to have 7. If Eli wasn't in the league, he would have 7. That's how I see it. That's exactly how I
Okay.
see it.
So
How
what
much-
about
whoa,
the
whoa.
other years that he didn't make the Super Bowl?
How much credit are you giving Eli for the Super Bowl wins? They have, how much credit are you giving Eli for the Super Bowl
The
wins?
passes?
The helmet catch?
The helmet catch?
And, not to mention probably one of the greatest defensive lines ever assembled. Osi Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, Michael
Yeah.
Strahan, all on the defensive line at the same time.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, what,
The
Antrell
fact that-
Roll?
The-
Antrell Roll playing in the secondary too?
Beat the
Brandon
best.
Jacobs had a great
Brandon
playoff.
Jacobs, Brandon Jacobs,
Yeah,
Brandon
great
Jacobs
playoff.
spazzed out.
He had a great playoff.
Brandon Jacobs spazzed out. And that was before Plaxico shot himself.
Can you name the top 10 quarterbacks?
Can you? Because you're the one who made the statement.
Yeah.
I think I can.
Go ahead.
Alright.
Give me a minute. Y'all can go ahead.
You gonna Google it?
No, give me a minute. I'll give me a minute.
I mean, I'm just going to start throwing names out then.
Go ahead.
Dan Marino,
Joe Namath.
Peyton Manning.
Roger
Joe
Staubach.
Namath.
Nah, Joe Namath. I love Joe Namath, but he's not. No.
Roger Staubach.
Roger Staubach. We said Joe Montana already. Steve
Brady,
Young.
Tom Brady.
Steve Young, Tom Brady.
Brady.
Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers.
I'll put Big Ben.
Aaron Rodgers.
Big Ben. Big Ben's better.
Terry Bradshaw.
Nah, Big Ben's better. I hate him.
Terry
But
Bradshaw.
he's better.
Terry
Terry
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw.
Joe. You put Joe in there?
Joe Montana? Yeah, I said Joe Montana.
Oh, I saw
And I said Steve Young.
Yeah,
Steve
okay,
Young,
okay.
Steve Young.
Well, ain't that time right there?
No.
And Troy.
That's close.
Troy.
Troy.
Cowboys.
No.
Troy,
No.
I have so many opinions about that Cowboys team that I want to talk about.
Troy.
No.
Troy.
Okay, good. There's definitely more that were back then, like Fran Tarkenton, I'm talking about like old level goats like Len Dawson, Bart Starr. Those are guys who like originated like. I mean, Troy, that Cowboys team I have a lot of opinions about in terms of was that team a little
Let's
bit.
get into it. 'cause
Was that team a little bit
Cowboys-
gassed?
But like the thing with
We're the
Eli, is,
individual
like,
players
we
in
can
that
talk
team
about
gassed, I mean.
performances, but like overall.
How many
body
years has he
of
led
work.
the league?
Oh,
in
Brett
interceptions?
Favre.
He
I
hasn't
forgot
even-
about Brett Favre.
He hasn't even made the.
I knew I was
Drew
missing
Brees,
somebody.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, that's another one.
Ew. Yeah.
You gonna tell me Drew
How
Brees is not a better
many
quarterback?
years
But
has
they
Eli
have
led the league
they've
in
been more
interceptions?
consistent. Like Eli Manning didn't make the
he's
playoffs.
led-
Wait, we didn't even say his brother. We didn't even say Peyton.
Clutch.
We didn't even say Peyton.
We just named like 15.
Eli is better than Peyton.
Eli has the same amount of rings as Peyton.
Eli is better than you just said. But you just said Peyton didn't earn his last ring. So come on.
But Eli didn't earn one of his.
Eli did. Eli is one of the most clutch quarterbacks ever.
Because he made like 5
Hold on,
plays.
wait. Playoff Eli is.
Playoff Eli, yes. Playoff.
We're talking
Yeah.
about full body of work.
Bro, regular season Eli is better off throwing
But
blindfolded with his
but
offhand
you-
that only has 2 fingers on
You
it.
do realize every time he goes to play, he plays a wild card game. He has no buys. He's getting.
But every time he goes to
Is that
because
because
he's
he's trash?
because he's out of the playoffs every other year.
Why did he never get a 1 seed?
Then go meet Tom Brady and then come on. Are y'all serious?
Gerald, can I tell you this right now? I think right now, if you put the 4 of us, if you gave each of us 4 games to start for the Giants, would have less interceptions as a combined group as
That's
Eli
fact.
Manning would as the single quarterback.
That's a fact.
He'll still win the game.
He wouldn't though.
He'll still win the game.
Oh well, right now because he has the best defense in the league. Arguably,
Yeah,
they allowed the least
and
points.
the best wide receiver.
They
in
allowed the
league
second-
right now too. So
You know,
That
for
is also
Eagles
debatable.
fans, you sound pretty jolly right now.
be jolly.
That's what I'm saying. That was my original statement.
But
For an
I'm
Eagles
saying
fan to
that-
say that Eli Manning is a top 10 quarterback in the league,
I've
a
always said that.
tad bit crazy.
I've always said that.
How many years has he led the league in interceptions?
You tell me.
In his
You
first
tell me.
season off rip, he did. Off
I'm
rip,
pretty
he
sure in
did.
2012 he did. 2013 he
Who has
did.
the most interceptions all time? Isn't it Peyton or
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
But Brett Favre also started the most games consecutively, played on multiple teams that were far worse than anybody that Eli's played for. Could you name his receivers? Like
Name his
the receivers that he
like,
won the Super Bowl with, like he didn't even get a Super Bowl with like Donald Driver and all them because he was a Viking by that point. Like he was throwing to Antonio Freeman.
He has one.
He has one over the Patriots. Yeah, that was he. He also played with Reggie White, but Reggie White was like the only guy in that defense that I can name. Charles Woodson too probably, but that's the only 2 guys. I mean, that was young Charles Woodson because they played the Patriots like late 90s. I'm pretty sure. Or like early 2000s. But either way, I would still say that Brett Favre and Peyton Manning are both better than Eli.
Easily.
Alright, so
Playoff Eli, sure, maybe you can make an argument there, but in whole body of work,
Yeah, if you said playoff.
whole body of work,
You said those two.
I mean, Jim Kelly.
I'll
You can
change
say
it.
Jim Kelly's
I'll
better.
change it. Playoff Eli.
Playoff Eli can give you more.
Playoff Eli.
I can give you more
He's-
credit.
he's-
for
It was
playoff.
a bold. I made a bold statement. Now let me rectify.
Yeah, alright.
And now the thing
Playoff
about
Eli, I
playoff
give you
Eli
more.
is that he's
Top
only
10
been there
quarterbacks
for
in the
two
playoffs.
Yeah,
Y'all can have the.
Playoff Eli only has
Because
two
you can only
playoffs. He only has 2 playoff runs to fall back on. Granted, those both wound up in Super Bowls, but all the other times he was in the playoffs, it was flat. It was nothing.
Yeah.
And I'll give him credit, bro, because this last playoffs, he didn't play badly against Green Bay. Odell was dropping passes.
He dropped 2 touchdowns.
Odell was dropping passes.
2 touchdowns.
Eli came to play. Eli played very well, and that team let him down. However, I still think that as a whole quarterback, Eli Manning is not top 10. I think he needs to do a little bit more for me. By this point in his career, it's
I'll
too late.
renege on that.
All right.
But how do you feel like, since we're on the topic of NFC East, how do you feel about that little tandem they got in Dallas? Like,
Which the
do you believe
Dak
in
and Zeke?
Do you believe in that?
I believe in.
You believe in that?
I believe in that offense more than you'll know, but I don't believe in that defense as far as I can play in
The
it.
defense
I
is
think
got
it's
softer.
way better.
I don't
You
think
said
that
the defense got better.
I think it's way. Nobody on that
Are you serious?
no corners or safeties I really trust besides Barry Church. Now
Isn't he gone?
now we're young.
Isn't Barry Church gone? Or is he the only one who stayed?
No. Orlando State. He's
Orlando
He
State.
tore his ACL. But anyways,
He's also a liability at times.
well, now he's playing slot. Anyways, we're starting young, and I'll take that. But as for your defense,
Our defense? Up
Their defense is one of the top
Exactly.
fantasy defenses in the league. I had the fantasy defense on my team. I had their Brandon Graham is a very good player.
We need a corner.
Fletcher Cox is a very good player.
Fletcher Cox.
We took your best corner. We took your best corner.
Nolan Carroll was our best corner, Jordan.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
See, now that's a statement on the level of his
Are you serious?
Because the guy lined up with Desmond.
Nolan Carroll?
Are you serious?
Are you serious?
Laugh at them.
No, he's laughing at the way he said it because he's laughing at you.
Because the guy lining up against Des Bryant, when Des scored 3 touchdowns every time he played, y'all, that's a problem.
Dez is washed now, so we have nothing to worry
Des
about.
washed now. Des washed now.
He's washed.
I'm interested to see a full season out of Des. I want to see a full season out of Des.
Last time we saw full season out of Des, what happened?
You really just.
Hold on. Last time we saw a full season out of Des, last time we saw there was a full season out of Des. Oh, I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to. The last time we saw a full season out of Des, there was no Zeke. And Zeke eats up like 30 touches a game. And when you have to distribute the rest of those touches to wideouts and to Jason Witten, it was pretty clear that there were times where Dak was trying to force the ball to Des, and it looked bad. They eventually caught a little bit of a stride together.
Dak was also young.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying no. They eventually caught a stride. But I'm saying,
when Tony balanced DeMarco, when DeMarco led the league in rushing, and Des was top.
but that was at the point where Des was like the established Des. Now we have like an injury prone, like, oh my god, like is Des even gonna manage to play 6 games this season?
That was last year's preseason headlines. This year's what we could do.
But I'm saying he has such a plethora of injuries. I mean, he was on my fantasy team. He had a back injury, a leg injury, he had all sorts of stuff going on. And as much as I like he's a very good receiver. I like him.
I'm
you have to be concerned a little bit.
money guarantee. That's good. All right.
How many games this year? All 16?
You think he needs to start everything?
15 out of 16. I tell you.
15 out of 16.
out of 16.
Well, he might get suspended.
He's gonna be. He's not gonna be productive. You can play those games. Are you gonna be productive?
Damn.
Is Alshon gonna be productive?
We'll find out. We haven't seen them play together. Right?
That's an interesting team. I like that combination though.
Yeah,
I like a young Carson Wentz.
Carson.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Talking about injury concerns, Alshon Jeffrey is the definition of wide receiver injury
That's
concerns.
what I'm trying to say.
He is.
If
but
you literally Google wide receivers with injury concerns, Alshon Jeffrey's 3 pictures of Alshon Jeffrey probably pop up.
He had 4 games to cool. Suspension.
I mean, no, Alshon Jeffrey's still a very good talent though. And when he plays, he can play well.
What about Torrey Smith?
But Torrey Smith is also an injury-prone guy who doesn't play a big role. Because when he was with the 49ers, he was supposed to be a top guy, and then wound up just kind of floundering a little bit.
Torrey Smith is not a bad receiver.
Oh, they go team by team here. So let's see.
Let's go to the Bears or the Eagles.
Would he be listed as an Eagle at this point?
Yes.
either way, that's still gonna be
like, it's an upgrade from last year. We
I agree with
had no receivers.
that I can agree with. I can agree with you guys.
Nelson Aguilar, I don't know why we didn't release him yet. Jordan Matthews, he dropped passes as well.
Jordan Matthews is not bad. I don't think he's terrible.
He drops too many passes for me. I can't. To be an Eagles fan, like you're a Jets fan, so you wouldn't understand. He got Geno Smith at quarterback.
Well, no, they have a couple rings. So they wouldn't understand.
I'm not talking about one.
Oh, okay.
We got one.
Well,
The guaranteed,
that's
dog.
how much they have.
The guaranteed, dog.
Yeah,
It's lit.
Still.
Alright, so I think that's all the time we have for today.
Get you.
I'm about to issue my final statement because we do this every segment. I'm about to talk about the Lakers. I'm about to talk about Lonzo
Let's go.
because I'm very excited about the potential that's there. Magic Johnson at the press conference said, "Lonzo, leave a couple records for me," and that resonated because that's one of the greatest record-holding Lakers ever, talking crazy about a guy who hasn't played a single game in the league yet. But I can tell you this. I don't really make guarantees very often. I'm not about to make one now, but this is the closest I'll come. I think Lonzo Ball will retire as one of the better Lakers of all time, one of the greatest Lakers ever. I think Lonzo, statistically, will be one of the best players to play for the Lakers.
Calm down.
And I think by the end of his career, he'll probably have a couple rings after Golden State disperses their players. And if the teams in the East even pan out, that's not predictable because you can't say anything about that. But when the Lakers inevitably add pieces around him, because he can make guys better, I think Lonzo Ball will retire as one of the greatest Lakers to ever play basketball.
We're gonna rip into your
Get a statue?
next.
And that's it.
Is he getting a statue? Is he getting a statue?
And that's it.
Is he getting a statue?
He might.
We're gonna rip into that next show. That was bad right there.
No, man.